All right, for maybe the first time ever, we are a minute early. There was much rejoicing.
Yeah.
So welcome to the Wednesday morning show. Yeah, y'all were lucky I didn't get in the car and leave this morning. So consider I'm allowed, since I'm so old now, that I'm allowed just to forget that I have a show and go on and I go, wait a minute, I'm just having a senior moment and I'm out. Uh, yeah, so Bumcraft says that Larry was first. Good morning, Jabus. You guys
Uh,
check out Steve's link if you're interested in whatnot. He'll be doing a show tonight, giving stuff away. Not only is he giving stuff away, but if you use his link, if you don't have an account and sign up there, you'll get $15 free to buy his stuff that he's giving away. He was selling hats for
right.
$1 last week, folks. Go
Go steal
go
my stuff.
steal Steve's stuff cheap. Um,
I am selling some. My best thing to sell tonight is these 79 and 80 football. That's Joe Thies. Man, my camera sucks. I won't be using this camera for what.
I didn't get
But I
to
have
bid
a
on
whole stack. I have a whole stack of 79 and 80 football cards. So
I was trying to bid on one thing, and damn it, Pat D's that now bid me it. Thanks, Pat.
I do gotta say thanks to Pat. I don't know if he's listening, but him and Ray from Nashville Flippers are the ones who got me really thinking about doing whatnot. So once a week, I'm going to be doing it until I run out of inventory, and then we're going to make some decisions on where to go with that. So I'll be looking at some pallet stuff tomorrow. I don't know if that's the route we're going to go, but
Folks, it's a good place to source. Pat sold me this. The elder senior picker is in the house. Good morning.
I don't know that we should be telling everybody it's a good place to source. But
Pat, I got this from Pat D's for $5 plus shipping, and I had credit, so it ended up just being the shipping. And he ran it over and over, so I bought 3 sets of them, and it ended up costing me. Okay, so you can get the $15 link and buy stuff like this. I had $7 in 3 sets of these. That sells for $13 on eBay. That one sells for $12, and that one, it's all right.
Keep it in your medicine cabinet. It's a freebie.
Yeah. So, Mr. E, good morning. Amazon is bending this over, but understand, folks, as much as fees are hurting, I challenge you, go sign a contract for a lease on a building. Go ahead and run your brick and mortar. Figure out how to get the traffic there and the things that you're getting on Amazon, and realize what an incredible deal it still is. You have to work within the new confines. There's going to be changes, folks. This ain't the first change. This ain't the last change. Things are going to change over and over, and the people that survive and adapt to changes and figure it out and are the ones that continue winning. So, good morning, Josh. Glad to see you first in here today. Man, you could have given us some warning, man. I didn't even get a chance to watch you live yesterday. I had to watch the replay. I don't even watch replays, and I watched your replay.
What the heck?
Yeah, me and Todd are mad. Us old people got to have some kind of warning, right, Todd?
Yeah, like 2 weeks.
We need to put you on the calendar.
And then follow-up reminders.
You still forgot.
Jacob's wishing somebody happy birthday. Good luck with that, Jacob. Mark, good morning. Good morning, Laura. North Georgia Picker. Ron, what's up, buddy? Ron says a Google morning. What the hell is a Google morning?
I don't know what that is.
Ron, are you already hitting the good stuff this morning?
I think that's autocorrect is what that is.
That might be, but yeah, but I'm telling you right now, you're still early into the reselling online, folks. There's still lots of changes that are going to come, and there's new players still yet to come we don't know about. There's things that are going to change. This business will evolve and adapt and to whatever the latest thing is, and you gotta pay attention and be prepared. The one thing I can tell you is if you don't change what you do, you just get left behind. I promise you. look at some of the people who are now figuring out that, solidly on the side of I shouldn't promote. Go, well, maybe I got that wrong. I'm not going to tell you there was some satisfaction in watching that video, but there was a little bit of satisfaction in watching that video.
Seems when eBay or any platform roll out a new change, it's best to probably try to take advantage of that new change. And when promoted listings came out for eBay, it was a new change and people didn't like it. Or I don't know what I don't know if I did their offsite ad promotions.
I deleted the videos early on, but I don't know if you guys know or not, but whenever they came for Dusty about, being a non-vaxxer and all that stuff when he passed, I deleted all the live shows from that point forward because there were lots of talks of that kind of stuff. And I just didn't want any, the mob mentality was out in 2020 to get everybody. 2020,
it was bad. It wasn't just online either.
So, but though, if you'd go back and see in those live shows when promoted listings first came out, I told you guys it was a cash grab. What are you going to do? It's a cash grab. They look at Amazon and go, man, people like Grumpy here are paying a fortune for advertising on Amazon and getting great results. He's built a multi-million-dollar business through that. eBay wanted to figure out how to get their piece of the pie. And it was definitely a cash grab because the results.
It wasn't a cash grab.
You don't get the same results, though, John. I would challenge you. You can go through and use pay-per-click, and you were given a lot more control over your ad spend. Where it's placed, what keywords. You don't get any of that stuff with eBay.
I'm going to challenge you here. I want you to look at it in a different way. eBay's seen it as an income revenue source for their business.
Yep,
sure.
Just like when you go out looking for ass pads, you're looking for an increase in revenue for your business. I understand that it hurt many sellers because they didn't want to think of it in a different light. But you have to understand these platforms are in it for one person, themselves.
Yep.
They could care less about you or anyone else. Just like when you make decisions in your business, it's based on what you want, need, and feel is right.
I don't think politician. I don't think anybody talks about the elephant in the room. That even if you were to go and spend 10% on promoted listings, folks, if an extra 10% in fees on your item means that you're now losing money and can't run a business, maybe you're sourcing the wrong stuff.
I agree with that.
Amazon just came out with a whole bunch of new fees. And if you think they put a dent into what you guys are doing, what do you think it's doing to mine? And I'm a little seller compared to some of the people I know that are talking about an increase of $4,000 to $5,000 a week in inbound shipping costs, $20,000 a month. I'm having mic issues.
You're quiet.
I hear it fine, but is he the one I hear the background and it sounds like a fan or something running?
I do have a fan running.
Yeah, that's not me for sure.
That might be it. It might be picking up the fan versus.
There ain't much I can do in an RV. They get if the fan has to come on. The fan has to come on. But you have to adjust to what's going on in the marketplace. Do I agree with all the fees? No, but you know what? Instead of arguing about the fees, which Amazon will do nothing about, they're not going to change what they're doing unless it is better for them. You need to figure it out. That's all you can do is figure out how you can work around, how you can work with that to improve your business. For me, it's going to be volume. I didn't raise my prices as much as I was going to cover the inbound shipping fee because everybody rushed to increase prices to offset that. I left my prices lower and I'm seeing a higher volume.
Mr. E says, and decent comment says, "Welcome, Walmart is welcoming us with open arms." Though,
Sure, they are.
if
now.
you think for a moment that Walmart is not trying to figure out how to maximize their return on their investment on that side, have you not heard of Walmart and how they are? They're just behind. I'm telling you, anything that you see in these other platforms, they are taking notes, and it's coming to Walmart. Take advantage of it now. That's smart, but it's coming to Walmart. I can promise you, all that stuff is coming to Walmart. Congratulations, Tamara. They upgraded to a Class A RV.
I bet she's going to be figuring out how to beat those fees.
I don't know what a Class A RV is, so congratulations, I guess.
My bus is a Class A.
Okay, so big one.
Just means you can drive it, and there's not it's not a van that has, most of the drivable ones have the van front to them.
Sure.
Not a van. It's a box.
You have to have special, you don't have CDL for those, do you? Even the ones that look like a bus?
Yep, which is stupid because I got air brakes on this thing.
Yeah,
all kinds.
That's always fascinated me.
That you really should be trained on.
I think you have to get up to a bigger size truck, like something bigger than a 1-ton that's pulling these other trailers to get to the. I was watching some of them. I forget what they're called. They're basically semis that pull fifth wheels.
Yeah.
And for those, you do have to have a class.
Hey, Hustle and Grow. I took your advice. Well, I don't know if it was advice or not, but tomorrow I'm going to meet with the guy over at AXI, which is the pallet place here, just to see what they have. Whether or not I ever buy anything, but I'm going to try it.
So if you want to follow somebody that does talk Walmart, that's a harder one to find on YouTube, at least in my opinion. Ed Hustle and Grow is a good channel to watch. I think Ed does a weekly show, and he discusses Walmart a little more in depth. But it's definitely I 100% agree that he expects them to level that out in the coming year. I don't know if it'll take that long. I think that they are working. Their system's not quite as good as from what I hear of people who sell on it. So once that gets ironed out and they get a little smoother, I'm telling you, the fees are coming.
Wait, you have to understand what Walmart's doing. They're making it they're hanging the fruit very low for you as a seller to grab.
Because they want sellers.
Because they need more sellers on their platform. Once they get the sellers, the Wild West days will go away very quickly. The rules will start coming, the crackdowns will come, and then you'll be, oh, it's just another Amazon. Now they just look into them. They're doing business. You got to look at it from a business mindset. This is not a hobby to these people, and they're not a charity. They're not doing it. They're not doing it for your benefit.
And I think that might be where some of the disconnect is, John, because a lot of people that watch this channel, I appreciate the audience. Are generally the little more. I consider you guys the more advanced sellers. You guys have been in this a little longer for the most part and get it. But there's a huge difference in their reaction. You see something like a fee change, or you see some of these changes, and the hobbyists and the people that do it like that kind of way just lose their shit. And at the end of the world. But the people who see this as a business, whose mindset is, they're going to make this work. Even if you're somebody like me who's created yourself a job, I still try to treat this as a business. And so I set about trying to figure out, I ship a lot more now because, I don't want to deal with Amazon as much. And how do you get around the fees, folks? The choice was made for me by the U.S. Post Office. And you go, Beard, how the hell did the post office have anything to do with Amazon fees? You don't understand ground advantage, and what ground advantage has been a significant factor in lowering my cost. The stuff that I used to ship for $8, $9, $10 average, I had 30 items the other day, and if it was under 4 pounds, it didn't go above $8 to California. I'm telling you, the significant lowering of cost of shipping We don't talk about that enough, and it should be significant enough where you look at your business and go, even if I need at some point to hire a teenager down the road, it still will be significantly less to pay somebody to ship the savings than it would be for me to deal with Amazon and their fees right now. I can't be the only one that sees that. I'm shipping stuff, and then God forbid you
what Ground Advantage.
And so there's another one that's out there now, John, that Ground Advantage Cubic. So basically, the post office has rolled in Cubic shipping to Ground Advantage. I'm telling you, I'm selling stuff. I use a 1044 box, and I'm selling stuff that's a couple pounds that's cheaper than the 16 ounce rate.
I shipped a 6 pound, I think it was 6 pound box of California yesterday for $16. It's crazy.
This is where the smaller sellers can have a huge advantage. For me to switch to Ground Advantage at this point is going to take some work. And we had a 2-hour discussion about it yesterday or Monday. It's not, I can't shift overnight.
Right, and we've had this conversation where the advantage of a small seller is the ability. It's the same. If you think of it as a boat.
Hey, I got a little side cheek from Todd there.
If I'm on a,
this was $12.90 to ship to California on Ground Advantage. Priority was $22.80.
Yeah,
that's what
almost double.
And that's what we used to pay.
And so,
but you guys go in and when I say you guys, I mean sellers in general, go in through the platform and order their shipping, whether it be ShipStation, Pirate Ship,
right,
eBay, Amazon, whatever. FedEx came in and set up my systems. I have FedEx. We have a contract with FedEx to ship through FedEx, and so it's not easy for me to. Now, do I have an advantage over you guys? Yeah, I do have a little bit of an advantage because I get a huge price break. And although Ground Advantage is still better, I'm not paying FedEx rates that you guys pay. My FedEx rates are much better.
I don't pay
FedEx.
FedEx.
I would use FedEx. I actually have very good FedEx rates. I just don't ever use FedEx because it's across town.
Well, see, FedEx puts a trailer outside the factory. A trailer outside the factory because we ship about 3/4 of a trailer a day.
So baseball has a question. Baseball, if you notice, we were early today, so I like you to give me credit for that. So is FBM the way to go? I can't tell you that. You need to be able to look at your business and see what's right for your business. And so remember what I was doing at the end of the year last year. I was taking everything out of here. I was putting it in storage. And I wanted to make it even easier. And so the stuff that I'm selling that I've gone back into RA, cleared 60% of those shelves right there. By the end of the day, they'll be 100% cleared. And all my RA is going right there. I have 22 to ship this morning. Of those 22, I got to go get 3. 3 of them are in the other building. The other ones are right here. And so I'm making it exceptionally easy. Everything's going in the same boxes. I've got tape machines. I've got all this stuff, printers.
I got to ask because I've been telling you for years to get into these systems and processes. Could you ship this stuff cheaper using different packaging boxes, whatever? And I'm talking about pennies here.
I've got it down now, John.
In value.
I've got it down now, John. I've switched boxes here lately because I tried to analyze what boxes, and I started realizing that if I cut down the boxes to 1044, which I get on, I'll give you that. I get it. I buy all my boxes for the most part here. Get they're the cheapest boxes online. I get my box 1044. They are $40 for 100 or 40 cents a box. Take the 5% off on that as well, and then they qualify for a ground cubic I was using some of the bigger boxes that were harder to qualify for ground cubic, or the rates were, that box almost always gets ground cubic. And so I use the 1244. I've tried to narrow it down. I've increased the number of boxes I carry in order to effectively lower the price of shipping to take advantage of the cubic shipping. So I've looked at that, John. You're that's a good thought, Ed.
I mean, you may be able to save a penny here and a penny there if you did it. If you sat down and tried to fix, it's just like pricing.
Mm-hmm.
I've always said that if you sell jeans, you sell them at $9.95 plus $6.99 shipping. Everybody thought I was nuts. But I could sell and list and do everything so much faster with systems and processes that losing a few pennies here or a few dollars there, in the end, my volume makes up for it. So your work, by creating that system, you may be spending a couple extra pennies. You have a process that's saving you dollars in time.
So the big thought for me, John, was, and I've got one large item, that's one of the ones I've got to go get, is, you know, Dusty and I had this argument for years when he was still around. He only wanted to ship small things that fit in his office. And I got that because he was much more efficient that way. I wanted to take advantage of more expensive stuff, and I got to make sure he can get in the backyard. I'll keep that thought.
Is that the grass cutter out there again?
Yeah.
It's Wednesday, every Wednesday. Hey, next year by this time we're hoping to have our very own grass cutter, because we'll be our credit cards will be paid off by that time.
Well,
should be good to go.
One of the times I was down there, he was talking about it, and I said, "Dude, hire somebody."
Yeah.
And
unfortunately, we're not in that position yet, but we will be. And
he did, and he bitched about it the first couple of times because it's, there's an expense to it. But this is several years now, and it's probably the same guy.
But if you never have to cut grass again, oh my God. I mean, for me, I have asthma, and it's really hard to do. I do it.
But you have to use the same time in your business. You can't just, okay, now I can take a nap. You have to use that time that you're saving, spending money on getting your grass cut.
And so I decided to change I'm still picking up the large items, John, but to ship like I've got a printer that's got to go out today. To ship that printer, it's not a 45-second ship anymore. It's now 5 to 6 to 7 to 8 minutes, depending on what I got to do with it, and whether I've got a right size box. All that stuff's going to the auction now. I'm going to still pick it up. There's still money in it. It goes to the auction. This is the last printer. I didn't get it turned off, so I'll ship it out. But I've worked on trying to be more efficient on that side of it too, because I want to run 3 days on the road buying stuff. And so and only ship 3 days a week, and I want to be able to list on those same ones. And so how do you get there? You've got to make it where, I'm still doing the shipping. I'm still one person, but if I'm much faster at it and more efficient at it, and not dealing with the big items,
volume.
Yes, that's 100%.
I shipped out I sold both of those dental air filter things I had from the dentist, $350 a piece. Now that's worth shipping out a big item, but I went and found the smallest box it could possibly fit in, and still be protected. I had 2 inches around it, all that stuff. Yeah, but it only cost me $30 to ship that to Los Angeles.
But I just sold a $60 item that fits in a 1044 box. It's much easier to deal with than it is the $130 printer that's got to go in a.
You're right.
20 by 16 by 12, and then I've got to protect it because it will, the handling on that thing matters.
You have to have a lot more profit in that big item to take up the time you're spending it, because it took me 15 or 20 minutes to box that thing correctly.
And I said 5 or 6 minutes, and 10 minutes is probably more right. And so
it was 40 pounds. It was heavy.
So I would challenge you, baseball. FBM might be right for you. You've got, what do you sell? Does it? Are you able to ship these things? And if you are, I would challenge you. I had just rearranged this building. I had just done all this craziness for this building, and I'm like, you know what? It's still not good enough.
Was that you, John?
No, that was me.
Oh,
No.
okay.
I challenge you.
It looked like John was reaching for his phone. That's why I asked.
No. Here's a package. To give you an idea. Here's a package of an item I sell. All right. I took the item out because everybody thinks it's the item. It's not the concept of it. I sell in this size. I sell one. I sell the same item in half this size. It is a 3-pack. I have my shipping down to a science with this stuff. If you take the time and put the weights in and you're selling this stuff long term, now this is a product I sell for 10 years. If you lay all this stuff out and you have these systems and processes, adding a new product or a $350 filter is expensive to me. It costs me money because I don't have a box. I have to go get. And I'm Steve. I'm not saying you were wrong to do that because you and I are in a totally different situation. But you have to, when you get into business, you have to start looking at systems and processes and how do you advance your. It doesn't matter your sales line. The one that matters is the bottom right corner, the profit line. What are you going to put in your checking account? So if you can work for a little less but add up more, the bottom line is going to be bigger.
And so I challenge you, always be looking at your, what you do and why you do it. Because I'm telling you, you can get better. I've now rearranged this building 3 times in the last 8 months. And if it takes another one, it takes another one. That's time well spent because I got that. You know how much time I say, okay, the storage building, John knows, he's been here. The storage building's only 2.5 miles.
Yeah.
But it's still, by the time you get there, you get back,
20 minutes.
Stop what you're doing, 20, 30 minutes. I mean, and then if you're in a good flow and working things, you lose all that. And I can't tell you how much happier I am just walking right here. The item that just sold on eBay is one of the. So I've also gone back. Sometimes what we used to do is not bad. So early on, it took me a while, but I figured out if I'm going to go all this effort on RA, just because it won't sell on Amazon because they don't allow me to, I should be picking this up for eBay. And so that's an RA item that's sold on eBay. It's still right here with the rest of them. And so it's making my eBay. I'm going to go through this evening or this afternoon and look at eBay. And if eBay doesn't follow the same rules that I'm following on Amazon, I'm taking it off eBay and it's going to the auction. Imagine that if you're going to sell on multiple platforms, the one weakness I will tell you about multiple platforms, and John does it right because John sells the same thing on both platforms and has the same processes on both. Imagine this, John. You've got to be feeling good today. The way I want my Amazon and my eBay to work is I want eBay and Amazon to be nearly the same items, same type of items, because I can't sell one on the other, because I want the same efficiencies on Amazon to carry through on eBay. You've got to think this.
Where the fuck did Beard go? And one day he got 1 year older, and all of a sudden his freaking eyes got open. He's like Paul on the road to Damascus.
Okay, so the show's title is "Can You Survive an Inevitable Problem?" The inevitable problem every one of you in this chat will face, and to some degree or another, is burnout. Mm-hmm. Now, and I've struggled with it 6 months last year. I've been on and off last couple of years, been working my way through burnout, trying to figure out how to get through with this, because I enjoy running around on the road hunting stuff. I enjoy being in the middle of nowhere, Kentucky, looking for stuff to chase. But I also, want to be able to make it so much more efficient. And so the ultimate goal in this too is as I do the area and have to travel farther, I need to spend 3 or 4 days on the road. How do I ship from the road? You can't, because FBM doesn't allow that. But there's 2 shippers in there that can take care of these things. If I make it so easy, all they have to do is walk out here and use the same boxes and the same process that I have to show somebody. I know, John, just leave. You may just throw you out. Can I throw John out of the show? But y'all want me to do that? Because I want them to be able to just walk out here and do it exactly like I would do it, and then be, you know what I mean? I want it to be so easy that at some point I'm probably going to do enough of this where I'll prepare for an employee at some point. I can see that coming down. I mean, I'm not saying in 2024, but probably 2025. But probably I would need somebody to come ship because I plan on buying a lot of stuff. He couldn't get the lawnmower in. That's why I had to go move the man.
You laugh at me and all that about harping on the SOPs and the systems and the processes and all that. My brother set his cruise up and I had my cruise planned, and we didn't realize the dates overlap. He gets on the ship and finds out that Amazon's hitting him with two-step verification, and he can't get his phone to turn on. So he's not able to connect to Amazon. We have a 9-pallet shipment going in to avoid the low inventory fees. I have not shipped a product to Amazon probably in 8 years. Not a single product. Somebody else handles every inbound shipment. Because he had the SOPs done, I went in, I read through the SOP. It was 20-some pages of wording and pictures. It took me about 5 minutes to read through it. I was able to get those pallets headed into Amazon in what was about an hour and a half, 2 hours. It probably would have taken my brother about 20 minutes, but it was able to be done by somebody other than him.
I got a question for you, John, and it's going to make me sound really stupid because I'm a very small business owner and you're a very large. What's an SOP? I've heard that term. I just don't know.
Think of it. It stands for Standard Operating Procedure.
Okay.
What I explain to people is it is an owner's manual for the way your business works. Just think of it as an owner's manual for a car, and it's something that you never need
until you need it.
Until the one time you need it.
Yep.
I never needed an SOP before in my life until yesterday.
Okay. So it's just a written down version of what you do every day for business. Got it.
So how does burnout relate to all this? I'm telling you, if you're constantly, the bane of my existence for a lot of years has been hunting for stuff. And as I sit down and I want to eliminate some of the hiccups in my business, make a list of all the things you hate. And one of the things that I hate is can't find an item. My inventory system is terrible. But having shelves right here where I can look at it and see it is I'm not an inventory person. I've just never been that way. My mind doesn't think that way. But I can remember, like, I've got to go to the building and get those 3 items. I've been to the building enough. I know exactly where they are. I can walk in there. But if I were to send Joni, the world would come to an end for her.
See, that's the opposite for me. My wife would be able to find it before I would, even though I know where it's supposed to be.
And so it's how do I set this up so that I can get help if I need it? I can be more efficient so that, I'll tell you the last 3 days, I've had really nice sales the last 3 days. I haven't done much. I've been mourning the fact that I'm a senior citizen now. I don't know what I've just decided to take a few days off the last few days. And even though I've done the shipping and that's pretty much it. Today is back to work. I'm going to work hard today.
Now, is it burnout or resistance to the stress that comes from being disorganized?
You just get tired, John. I mean, you get tired and it gets hard to make decisions. You end up with inaction because of the frustration. I'm trying to eliminate a lot of those things.
The frustration and the stress. I know. I took 17 years doing this. I suffered through it. I understand. What I'm saying is think of it as a different way. It's not so much burnout, but a resistance to wanting the stress of being disorganized.
And I definitely am. So it's part of changing my mindset too. That's why I'm listening to books. I'm trying to, Johnny, I have good friends around. I think I tell you all that every week. I get about once a week. I'll get a message from Harlan, Hey, I'm listening to this guy this week. Man, really, Harlan is great about. He listens to motivational stuff every morning to get himself fired up. And so I'll get a message every week. Hey, I really like this guy. Check him out. Um, books. Changing who information I take in. I told you guys I don't watch a lot of reselling content. Don't need much more clutter. So I'll pick and choose. Like Dixon's Pickens, I caught him for a few minutes last night. Smart fella. I like him. I'll pop in and see Ed every now and then. There's a few people that I enjoy listening to. Josh. Josh is a smart guy. When he shows up, So,
Timothy Dole says sometimes reducing a process can increase profit and production.
Yeah, I'm way behind on. I'm trying to go halfway.
A basket needle. I sold on Yahoo Auctions. How long ago was that?
So what boxes do I keep on hand? 642, 644, 864, 1044, 1086, 1244, 1266, and then there's that one up there is a 1612 6. Then there's some really big ones that
you still got your 642s, right? I love those little boxes.
Every time we talk about serious reselling, you're right, Roman. Todd's happy that there's gold buried in the backyard.
And the price is going up on gold.
So if y'all want to, Roman is funny in the chat. He is even funnier in person. If y'all want to see Roman, he'll be in Nashville. So the Nashville 26th to the 28th, the Nashville Flippers, their meetup. We're taking over the Nashville Flippers meetup. They just they don't know it. Yeah. They don't know it. But man, there's going to be lots of people from lots of different areas.
I wish I could go. I really do. Next year, though, we will be there.
The solar eclipse.
We want to. My wife and I watch Food Network all the time, and we want to go to Manit's restaurant. I know it's going to be expensive, but that's our goal. Manit Chauhan's restaurant.
So James, I'd agree with some of that. James says that burnout comes to non-joy. I've enjoyed everything I do, James, but you got to love the whole process. You've got to make it so that shipping is everybody complains about shipping, but you've got to in order to complete the process of finding the great items to make it to where the whole thing works is you've got to fall in love with listing. You got to fall in love with you've got to get those things done. If you don't do it, you got to figure out a way to make it work. So whether that's somebody else listing, whatever. Yeah. Everybody's answer to that question is not the same, and so figure this. Look through a business lens. Figure out what makes the most financial sense for you in your business and in your lifestyle and your goals. Because every single one of us is going to be completely different. John and I are a great example of what I do that will not work for him and vice versa. But a lot of the stuff that built him to where he is, if I wasn't so stubborn, I would have already done.
Yeah.
But there's
this morning I saw Zahir Malik. You know who he is, a British seller?
Yes.
Zahir did a short video this morning saying, "It's time. We're closing our brick and mortar store." So he's switching to all online selling and through his website. He said it's just not profitable enough anymore to keep a brick and mortar store open. So he's
that's not just in the UK.
So the novice wonder. So I challenge you to, whatever the frustrations are, that's the one. So what has helped me, and really think that I've got it licked this time, is I enjoy the chase, and so I'm like, how do I get back to doing the things that I enjoy about this business? Because the other stuff is still going to be there, and if you find a way to maximize the enjoyment. So how do you maximize the enjoyment? How do you maximize your time? I think it comes through efficiency. I think it comes through system. I finally have drank John's Kool-Aid, and I think he's 100% correct. Is how do you have more time with the family? How do you have time for the things that you want to do and still be successful in your business? And that might make hard decisions on, I like being the electronics guy who knows that I can walk in and that $3 printer is worth $130 on Amazon. And that money's always going to be there, but that doesn't mean that's right for me. Right. That stuff takes up a lot of space. And what is my goal is to put probably another set of those shelves right here. I want to be able to function with everything so easy. And so how do you make efficiency easy just because you've done something?
You got to add a couple words in there. How do you add efficiency for your life?
Right.
Efficient for me doesn't work for you, or may not work for you, and it may not work for the audience. So what we're saying is find efficiencies that work for you.
Sorry, that was an important thing.
I'm getting new Whatnot followers. Thanks, guys. Marcia and I plan to make that a bigger business than it is now, for sure. So we're talking about it. She wants to come home. Now, talk about burnout. Try delivering groceries for a year. Yeah, you're going to get burnt out really quick. So.
Yeah, but you still got a roof over your head.
Oh yeah, I mean it's paying the bills for sure, and more than that. And so right now that's where it's at. But we're slowly moving back into the reselling. But we're going to be using some of these processes that you guys are talking about because it needs to be more efficient than it ever was for us to continue doing it. So, Whatnot is just a means to an end. We're trying to get somewhere quicker.
But it's the answer is not the same for everybody who deals with this. But I'm telling you, you have to you sit down and logically think this thing through and really see if you can figure out, why did you start this? Why is it? One of the books that I'm going to read shortly is The Power of Why, or something about that. I've always known that's extremely important. So why do you do this? It's it really at hard times and tough times, why will help focus you and, be honest with yourself. What is the hiccups that's causing you? And if you tell me that it's Amazon fees, I'm gonna tell you to bang your head against the wall, because that's not caused the burnout. That's not caused the issue. It might have exposed an underlying issue, but it's not the cause. Because at the end of the day, the fees are, I would tell you if a slight increase in fees has threatened to put your business under, you're not buying the right products. You just aren't. John's answer to every time Amazon does fees, it's been the same since he's been on this channel with me. It's people start bitching about, the postal service is going up, and John, I'm just gonna raise prices. I'll offset it. He very logically looks through the business and goes, it's a pass-through cost. So what are fees in a business? Fees are going to be pass-through costs. And Kathleen says, have I incorporated? I need to come up with a daily routine. I know that's one of the things that.
I think that's key right there.
Yeah,
getting up in the morning, doing the same thing every day. At least for me, it would be.
I've read a lot about that, Kathleen. I'm still working on what that looks like. But no, that's an excellent idea. I was impressed. So Josh Gall, I mentioned his name a couple times. He's probably still hanging out. He'll wave at you if he is. Go listen to his show yesterday. You can love the guy, hate the guy. It doesn't really matter to me one way or the other. But he really talks about over the last 3 years working, 18-hour days and pushing and grinding. And he come to realize that it's much more important for his health that he can focus better on his business by working less but by taking care of himself and, spending a couple hours a day exercising, you know, recovering the mind and doing all the things that take care of yourself. And it's a matter, if you take care of yourself physically and mentally, you function better in your own business because you make better decisions. Things don't bother you. You're much more clear. I challenge you to go listen to him and listen to what he has to say. You can skip around, but he'll start talking about that somewhere early, and then he'll hit it again midway. Yes. One of the few, I don't listen to replays, and I'm glad I listened to that one because he said a lot of things that I've thought over the last few months. But
that's the guy from Canada. Okay.
Yeah, Josh, that's the Bean dude.
But listen, the other thing is you also have to be willing to give up some of what you do currently. For example, I'm going to use Scott as an example here because I like to pick on Scott. He likes being out on the road doing the RA. The other thing he likes to do is yard sales. Instead of his main income comes from RA, I believe, year round.
Yep.
He needs to focus on the RA. Now, the yard sales, he needs to look at it a little bit differently. Is it worth the time to list the item to make a few dollars, or is it better to just focus on buying stuff for his auction? Because he has a local outlet auction that he can use to offload a lot of stuff. So instead of looking at yard sales as an income stream for eBay or Amazon, or if it fits, just send it in or whatever. But for the most part, instead of dealing with all these different boxes and having to go to the storage unit and all that, he'd be better off buying an extra 10 items RA that sit on the shelf next to him that somebody else can ship when he's out on the road. And I'm not saying do that. What I'm saying is sometimes you have to give up some of what you're doing to increase something.
Okay, so yard sales this year are going to be different. I'm going to buy a lot of the same stuff, and I plan on buying even more because yard sales are going to feed the auction. Imagine this: John is very smart, folks. If y'all don't if you can get past the grumpy exterior, he's a smart man. And I'm telling you, so the yard sales, because the one thing I can tell you about is that auction, people understand value and they understand what stuff is worth up there. And so the items that I'm buying to sell that for a certain profit on eBay, I will get nearly the same or acceptable margins at the auction and never list it, never ship it, and let it go. And it doesn't mean that I change my eye, what I look for. I will adapt and buy more things. But they recognize value. They recognize, and so yes, I'm going to do the yard sales just as hard as I've always done, but it is specifically to feed the auction because I want eBay to match Amazon with the ease of which I'm selling, and I want those two platforms to match. Because the one I spent some thought, John, thinking, because I'll tell you guys, there's a lot of people that talk about cross listing, and that cross listing can be good or bad. The one thing I can tell you, the negative about cross listing, if you cross list other platforms and you're not an expert on that other platform, you're going to have mediocre results on a platform that you could have great results if you understand it. I know how Poshmark works. I am not a sharer. I know you can buy stuff and they can share it. I have no interest in that kind of stuff. And that is very negative to start with. And so the eBay, so how do I get eBay to function better at the level that Amazon functions is I need the same items. I need the same, you know what I mean? I need them to work in concert. I don't need eBay to be a completely different list of stuff that's a struggle to list. That's a struggle. Remember the RA stuff? I can take a couple pictures on an RA item and it listed and just be done. And this is not like, cleaning an item, describing it, testing it. I've got all this stuff y'all been looking at this stuff forever sitting here. I need to test. It's slowly going to auction because it's got to go out of here.
You also have to understand that as you get older, you're going to find that you want more replication, meaning build it once and just keep relisting on it.
Right.
Now with you run out of, you can run out of inventory because you chase a lot of.
But there is some of that, John. I find a lot of the same stuff. Remember, and so it has been very nice to, sell somewhere or go back in there and hit the number and edit the quantity. I've got one now. Oh, now I've got 6 instead of, that is, I think eBay rewards you for activity in your account. It's not just listing. People go, oh, I list 5 things a day or whatever that number is. People, and that's how I keep sales. If I didn't list, I don't think they care. I don't think it has to be listing. I think it's activity in your account, whether it's changing prices, it's changing quantities, it's running sales, it's keep promoted listings. I think activity in general, because I'm gonna say so. I don't think it's the actual listing every day. I think it's the more attention you pay to a platform as well, the more, the more things, the more activity. It just, how many times have you gone somewhere and put your hands on something and go, man, I wonder why this hadn't sold, and it'll sell within the next 24, 48 hours. That's kind of weird, but I think the more attention you pay, and I don't think the attention has to necessarily be listed. Although I do think that listing is extraordinarily important, and you need to continue to list on either platform, because especially your fast selling items, because you will quickly, and I think this has happened to a lot of people on eBay, is as their sales have come through and they've sold the better stuff, the high dollar, the high sellers, the high performers are get out of the way, and they don't realize, they go, man, I've got 1,000 items listed, but these are the medium, middle of the road, to slow sellers, and you give yourself credit for, man, I got 1,000 items, but the good ones are gone, and you don't spend the time replacing the good ones, and so now you're sitting around waiting on the medium items to sell, the medium sellers, the slow sellers, and I don't think people understand that. But if you were paying attention in your business and you were paying it the attention it needs, and you can understand what items you have left, and maybe it's pricing that's wrong with them, maybe it's selection,
Times change, maybe it's out of fad. Go find a Hatchimal. A Hatchimal's not going to bring the money once brought.
Steve, are you doing a Whatnot show tonight?
I don't know. Maybe. Why?
I keep seeing it in the chat, and I was just wondering if you were doing one.
This message?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that one. Yeah, Josh is Canadian. Yeah. Yes.
I'm actually contacting a Whatnot. So I got to tell you this brief little story. I know it's off topic, but I bought some items from a Whatnot seller on March 23rd. He still hasn't shipped them. So I've noticed that a lot of times when you buy things from people on Whatnot, they take forever to ship. So be careful who you're buying from. Read all the reviews. This guy had good reviews. He gave me one excuse of going out of town for a funeral, that one. And I gave him the benefit of the doubt because I told him I'm a seller too. I'll give you some more time. But I'm writing him a message right now that I have to contact Whatnot to get a refund, because he sent me one message and then a link to his upcoming show, and that was it a week ago. So if you're a Whatnot seller, please ship out on time. That's all I'm saying. Or any seller.
But so I really hope that each of you takes this, especially if not everybody is currently, in a mindset where they need some focus and that kind of stuff. But I would challenge you, if you're not really evaluating your business on some scheduled, whether it's once a month, once a quarter, you're going to fall behind, and it's going to, because everything around you is changing. Everything is shift. Just think about how, and how the market changes so much. We've gone from just over the past few years, from an economy that was the money was free money in the system that was printed by the government, that was handed out for free. So people spent it like they didn't have any connection to it. Dried up, stuff's more expensive. So you've got to earn how do you earn dollars? online selling, deliver what you say you're going to do, treat people kindly. I mean, all the things that you should be doing in your business, what you expect. And then making your business better for you. How are you able to deliver on all those things? Make your side of the business work much easier and more efficient. That's gonna be a word for a while here around here is efficiency. I need to be more.
A what? That's a horrible word.
It is a horrible word, but
because that comes right along with systems and processes.
Yeah, there's a book. The next book up, John, is one about systems and processes. So yeah.
Listen,
he messaged me back just now. Hey, that's it.
Listen, as you get older,
send me my shit.
As you get older, you're going to want this to be simpler and easier. Not only because it makes life easier, but because you're going to want to be able to do it quicker and not forget steps and be able to make. Listen, I've been doing this for quite some time now, working on all these processes and systems, and there's a reason for it. As we get older, we want to do less. Look at Todd. He doesn't even want to come on camera anymore. You barely get a hand.
I'll be doing my best Todd impersonation tonight, by the way.
So Larry, do you remember who he was talking to? Because I think there's a lot. I think there's a lot to that. In order to make your business grow, sometimes you need to cut out things in order. Whether you can see it or not in the time, if you realistically look at some of the things you do, and it's. So I'm not saying that I'm not going to sell some of the one-offs at yard sales on eBay. Some of that stuff, I pick up newer items. DVDs are so easy to list on eBay, Amazon, both. If they're at yard sales and they're there, there's a filing cabinet right there. There's a system. They go right there. They're so easy to find. You just walk over until you figure out which one of the 3 floors are in. The single hardest thing is when you lose your what. I was wondering, you got to find it again, man. Whatever that motivation is, whatever. Okay, so you didn't lose the why, you lost sight of the why. There's a huge difference. And focus. I had to almost get to the point where I was going to be struggling mightily to wake me up and to get me going again. And it's hard to say to yourself. It's hard to admit on camera that that I struggle with it so much that I almost let it get me, and to the point of I'm like, man, if this continues on for another 3, 4, 5 months, I'm gonna have to seriously think about getting a job. And I'm like, that's a wake up call. One of my whys is never work for somebody else again. Never, never, never.
Now, I want to talk about Amazon's new fee for a minute and what I had to do. All right. I have to go through and decide, is this particular product worth keeping because of inbound shipping costs, low inventory fees, whatever it is. I need to trim and streamline what I do or what I sell based on what's going on. For example, I have an item that sells very well. It's an oversized item. So we figured it out. We sat down and figured it out. It took us about an hour to figure it out. Based on inbound shipping costs and it being oversized, and now with ground advantage and all that, that I can actually make more money shipping it myself. So instead of it being an FBA item, we now have to kill off the FBA listing and make it an FBM listing. We're actually going to lower the price by $4. And we'll make more money on that one particular item. You have to do that from time to time. For your entire business, you have to go in and go, okay, times are changing, the fees change, the shipping change. You guys now have an advantage with this ground advantage, and you're saying, what's the other one, Scott? Ground cubic?
Ground advantage cubic, yeah.
You know, you got all these things that are now. Did you actually go through and relook at all your business and see where you can make the most money? Where can you adjust things to actually make more money on the bottom line? Not the top line, not how much you sell. Too many sellers get caught up with my sales are $4 million. Does that really matter if my bottom line is 20,000? It doesn't matter. It's how much you take home and put in your checking account. That's the number you need to focus on growing.
The most useless number of any reselling business is your sales number. It is absolutely does not matter one bit, because you don't. John's 100% right. You don't know how they're set up, how they have employees, what their overhead costs are, what they pay for the item. You don't know any of the stuff that contributes to the amount of money you make on that item and on those dollars. And
now the reason we all discuss total sales, is because as you break the numbers down to get to that bottom number, there's gross profit, net profit, triple net profit, profit after payroll. You can manipulate numbers. So everybody talks about gross sales, because it's a number that everybody can wrap their head around. If you're selling a dollar item and you sell $1 million worth of product, $1 million, you sold 1 million products. You can wrap your head around and understand that. If I tell you I sell a dollar item and I make 500,000 last year, you have no idea where it came from or what that relates to.
But the one thing I would challenge you, Don, is as you look at these things, you gotta, not only is about dollars, but it's also, to me, it was more about systems too. It was, now these bigger items are still cheaper to ship, and I would make even more money on these bigger items, but it still takes my time. And that was the deciding factor for me to not sell the larger. To sell them at auction and not.
Well, you're 55. You realize that time is a commodity that you can no longer waste. That you shouldn't. You look back and go, "Wow, I really wasted a lot of time."
I have done that.
And if I would have done things just a little bit differently, I told you it was going to happen at 50. It happened at 55 for you. It happened to me too. You go, "Shit, I wasted a lot of time spinning my wheels." Where if I would have just put some systems and processes in, I'd have been a lot further ahead. I need to start doing that now, so that at 60, I'm not going back. I wish I would have started when I was 55. You hear me talk about leaving the business, exit planning, legacy planning. Right. Do I sell? Why do I talk about that stuff now at the age of 58? I'm still young to leave a business. I'm young. Because if I don't start now at 58, at 63, 5 years from now, if I wait till then to decide how I'm going to exit, it's another 5 years. I'm 68. Now all of a sudden I'm an old man. This stuff takes time. You need to start working on it now for the future. And a lot of people don't think like that.
And so I challenge you, if you don't think like that, because I didn't think like that. What has helped me and Novice Wanderer, one thing I can tell you is that might help you is start reading some books and start exposing yourself to some of the books that we've been reading as a group. The next one is Blue Ocean Strategy. But Rich Dad Poor Dad, I wish I'd have read that when I was 20. I think that one.
Have you played the game?
No, I have not played the game.
You told me you were going to play the game. Go play the freaking game.
It's not over with yet. My life's not over with yet. You play it once or twice, and afterwards you're going to say, "Man, that really changed my mindset." All right, John. But before next Wednesday's show, I will play the game. Amazon is 100% still viable. Novice Wonder. It's got issues like it does anything else, and they're going to, but I'm doubling down on Amazon. I've walked off of eBay as much and doubling back to Amazon. Amazon is still, it's still a wonderful opportunity. Are they still a bully? They're absolutely still a bully. None of that's changed.
You have to understand something about Amazon and the times we live in. Is it a viable business? Based on what we're living in, everything changes so rapidly. That's where it makes it hard to be a viable business. If you're looking for something to throw money at that will be like an ice cream stand, it's just going to start generating cash the same way over and over again. Or McDonald's, where they fry their fries for 3.5 minutes or whatever the frick it is. Amazon's not the answer. Okay, 4 minutes. Whatever. The Amazon, for me, Amazon is just a platform. It's like my product being put into Walmart. It's just a place where my product is sold. It's not my business. It's not my only. Do I lean heavily on it? Yeah, but a lot of people lean heavily on Walmart.
Like, I still have that one to read. I still have that note right here. But so now I was wondering, it'll change your it'll change the way you start exposing yourself to some of these business minded and motivation books. I think the first thing you got to do in order to really fix a lot of if you're having any kind of issues is it starts with fixing you. A lot of my problems are me. It's not in my mindset. It's in the decisions I make. It is not the platforms. It is so easy to sit up here and go, promoted listings are just killing us. They're taking all the money and blame whatever, the lack of sales on eBay, the fees on Amazon. It's so easy to make somebody else a scapegoat. It is so much harder to look in the mirror and go, maybe it reminds me of so the one quotes of a comedian that got me in to where I'm at in life today. He had 99 things that every man should learn before they die. And one of the things is, if you've been married 9 times, hell, maybe it's you. He's a comedian, so he was exaggerating, and unfortunately, he's no longer with us. He's one of my favorite comedians. But just stop and think about that for a second. If you've been married 9 times, hell, maybe it's you. If you have all these problems right now, maybe it's you.
Well, I'll be honest. I love all these new fees that Amazon came out with.
Gives you an advantage if you're willing to deal with them.
Okay, so here's a perfect thing. I just sold an item that on Amazon was not great. I think I was brand restricted. I still picked it up. I had $12 in it. It just sold for $60. It's sitting right over there. I can't tell you how much refreshing.
What is it? Show us the screen.
It's just some soap. It's sitting right over there. It's going to go in a box, and I've already got the size box over there because it fits in the 10.6.6 box. And I'm excited. eBay would go off, and I'm go, oh my God, now what have I got to ship or go find? And now eBay goes off, and I know where it is right here, and I'm going to trim up eBay today. I've got 400 some listings. They're probably coming down to 50 or 60 today. Functional listings. They got it. So if it's not an item that is, I need to know where it is. I need to know what size it is and ship it. If it's a large item, it's coming down.
I have on eBay, I have less than 200 listings. I mean, if you want to know the exact number, I can open it up. I have less than 200 listings. I sell about $6,000 a month on eBay. And I haven't touched the listings in, 5 years. I trim them down. I go in and go, this ain't doing nothing. I cut it off and throw it out, whatever it is. But for the most part, I got 200 listings. You don't need a lot of listings to make a lot of money.
But if you listen to my buddy John, he's on the podcast with me, Profit Playbook Podcast. So check that out on Saturdays. It's got its own YouTube channel. We're actually recording an episode after this show. We'll have a special guest this week, so I look forward to that. Smart fella. he was going to join us this week. But he also talks about his store. You know, the reason why he's been successful with his store, he only keeps 300 or 400 items in there. And I truly believe that on eBay, they probably have your account probably has a number, and it's a sell through number for your account. So, you know, if you've got 1,000 items listed, and you know they know on your account, because remember. Okay, so what's the strength of Amazon? Amazon is a data company. John said it for years. If you don't believe me, go read the Bezos letters where he talks about they track where your cursor is on the screen, folks. You know, you think next level. They want to understand what you're looking at, so they track on your screen. They track everything about you. eBay wants to be Amazon. So how does eBay become Amazon? They're becoming more and more data driven, and so I think
hi Joni.
The significant factors with eBay is your account sell-through. And so as I trim up some of these items and I put better selling items on eBay as my store comes, I expect to sell. But you go, Beard, that doesn't make sense. If you're going to take items off your store, how are you going to sell more? I'm going to sell more because my sell-through. I'm going to have better items. I'm going to have more efficient items. I'm going to have items that sell through faster. I'm going to be rewarded for search. I'm telling you.
Yeah, bring enough for everybody.
My wife that trick, Joni.
Huh?
You need to teach my wife that trick.
Y'all don't have Biscuit Express. Look at that monster.
Oh,
you bring enough for everybody. That's all I'm asking.
Look at all the carbs there.
I know, right? I
hate that freaking place. The next time I'm there, I'm gonna burn it down just so you can't go anymore.
Did I give you enough fries?
No, but that's okay.
You don't need no fries. It'll make them fat, Joni.
Make me fatter. Now I'm 55. I can be fat. Joni actually cussed me out this morning.
For being 55?
She said, your beard is too long. I'm like, what? I'm like, just wait till it hits my breast. Then we'll talk about how long it is. But it's...
Hey, listen, now that she's gone, you should have said, well, your boobs are too long.
I'm telling you, I'm going to be the account is going to be more. It's going to be more efficient. I'm going to be rewarded in search because it's going to sell through faster, and I'm going to have items that. Never forget this. I'm going to have items that people want, no matter if they're overpriced.
Why the hell would you do that?
I know.
Listen, you have to understand when these platforms make changes. You know who makes the most money as a seller?
The people that adapt to the changes and take advantage of it first.
That aren't on YouTube bitching about it. Or on Facebook going, what do I do? What do I do? How do I solve this problem?
Apparently, my headphones just gave out.
Is it too early? Is it too early to have natural light with breakfast?
I don't know. If you want one, go ahead.
I actually don't want one. That's okay.
I got a friend that drinks beer. I take him now. He's losing he's in the early stages of Alzheimer's. I take him over every Friday to play, and it'll be 8 o'clock in the morning there, and he starts drinking that natural light. Oh my Lord! And he puts them away. We'll be there about 5-6 hours. He'll put 20 of them away. God bless him.
But I challenge you to, Eric. We hadn't even missed you, man. I noticed how you made Josh's live, but you can't make and not even announce. And my live is the same every Wednesday for years, and you can't even show up. What the hell?
I would kick his ass out. Yeah, Tactical Z. I'm talking about you.
I'm telling you, if you don't take a realistic look at your business, and I'm not talking, and you're a huge chunk of your business. You know, we ignore. I don't know how this. We blame everybody but ourselves. We try to fix everything but ourselves, and usually the biggest problem in the business is us. It's the craziest thing you've ever seen, and I've been guilty of it, just like everybody else. And So that's why is 2024 different. I hadn't seen her in the chat, but she's told me probably 100 times this year, take care of yourself. It's time for you to take care of yourself. I can tell you that I've heard this from this young lady 100 times. You got to take care of you. You got to take care of you. You got to take care of you. It's 100% the truth. All right. Anybody else got something they want us to talk about, or that business gonna cause the exit button to come?
Or maybe doing a whatnot show tonight. I could talk about that a little bit.
Read the extreme. All right, Mr. E.
I am currently reading, in case anybody wants to know what I'm reading, I'm currently reading Great CEOs Are Lazy.
That'd fit right in then.
No, you wouldn't.
No, I wouldn't. Not my kind of lazy.
It's a great title. It's a clickbait title. Interesting book.
But I hope this show. I'm trying to, how is it using this on as my own therapy, this show, but also hopefully I don't hope that you guys are going through the same thing I am, but I know a lot of people are. And so as I work through my issues and what works for me, it might not work for you, but at least it shakes somebody and wakes them up, because it took me a long time to figure out that the biggest part of my problems is me.
Green eggs and ham.
That's what I'm reading, James.
I've read probably 500 books on business.
All right, y'all got an hour and 15 minutes today. Hey, it's an hour and 15 more than y'all got last week. So
yeah,
thank you.
I was pissed off about that. I woke up early and was sitting there waiting to sign on to show you guys where I was.
Hey, one last time before he signs off. Yeah, doing a whatnot show at 8:30 tonight. If you, I've been posting the link in the chat. If you guys haven't signed up for whatnot, go through that link. You get $15 to spend on my show. So buy my crap.
Get it for free. All you have to do. So the $15 doesn't count for
shipping.
It doesn't count for shipping, but after you buy the first item, the second item, shipping is greatly discounted. That is one of the strengths of. At some point, they're going to have to take advantage of Ground Advantage and quit forcing everybody to use priority, because
I'll put the link in one more time, and then we can. Hopefully, you guys show up. If not, that's cool too. But we're trying to get back into reselling, and this is one vehicle to do it.
Yeah, Mr. Sadie. I'm testing out one right now.
So Bass and Noodle, I missed the opt-out point for Amazon, so I'm forced to do one-day handling. But eBay, since I'm already doing one-day handling for Amazon, I'll leave it. eBay and Amazon is a little different. eBay's two-day handling is the same as one-day handling on Amazon. So I'm figuring out how to work around it.
Wait. What's your problem?
Amazon took away the ability to have two-day handling.
No, they didn't. I'll show you after the show.
All right, when I figure it out, I'll show y'all next week. All right. Enjoy your day. Peace out. I didn't even hang up on you. I did now.